So I was thinking about something, and I wanted to talk about this. And the concept I want to talk about is in ancient Greece, everyone thinks of like the Spartans or whatever, or Greek soldiers or whatever. Do you know much about them? They're very interesting. In ancient Greece, soldiers were citizens. Citizens were soldiers. You were supposed to be, a man of age to be this, and you were supposed to buy your own arms and equipment and go out to defend the city. And in order to fund any of that, you would have to have your own land and grow your own crops and be self sufficient, basically. And I'm talking about this concept now because right now, everyone else in the world is telling you to do something else. I don't care who it is, they're telling you to do something different than what I'm telling you to do, more than likely. And what I'm telling you to do is no matter how little land it is, go buy some of your own land. No matter how few guns you have some of your own guns. No matter how much food and silver you have, you should have some of both of those. And then you should build the rest of your life to where no one can take that from you. And by doing this, if we all do this, and we all go out and we buy a semi-automatic 308 rifle and 2 acres of land and build these little farms, what are they going to do? They won't control you at all. And I don't know where this is headed, but they want to control you for some reason, and I don't trust it. So be a Greek citizen soldier. Be a militiaman. Be the militia of the United States. Be the militia of Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, Louisiana, whatever state you happen to be in. You are the unorganized militia, and as such, you should be armed. And at this point, given the nature of the world, I would encourage you to own one semi-automatic 308 caliber rifle, one semi-automatic 9mm handgun, a rucksack, a chest rig, some armor, some melee weapons, and ammunition for your stuff. And I would probably add like a helmet and night vision and some other shit into that if you can swing it. But if you're just looking for like the most bare ass fucking bare bones loadout that will make you combat effective, I think a semi-automatic 308 caliber rifle with a red dot sight or scope on it does a lot of shit really well. And you can get a Rhodesian chest rig on Amazon right now for $35. And it's great. Okay, so an AR-10 and one of those would not cost you very much money. And then a rucksack, you could go get a Kelty from Amron International. That's my favorite place to get backpacks. It's amroninternational.com and look up their Kelty assault packs. I like the kind of forest green one that they're making right now. I'm going to buy a couple of those. Armor wise, I made a video on this already, but I would get just some bare bones fucking plates and a carrier from AR-500. I wouldn't worry that much about the armor, to be honest. I kind of think, given the nature of the war that is to be fought, if it comes to our shores at all, the armor isn't going to do you any good. I would invest in camouflage. That's a whole separate video. I think I will probably do a video on camouflage eventually, but this is the concept that I wanted to convey in this video, is that you, if you're watching this, are someone interested in survival, weapons, self-defense, all of that, you're the sort of person that should acquire a rifle and the equipment to use it. And the equipment to use it is a bunch of camping gear. Infantrymen are very hard to fight, especially in mass numbers, especially if they're dug into a position where they have food and water. And I kind of figure most of the people who's listening to me right now is probably in Texas and Oklahoma. Maybe a few others in a few other places, and God be with you. But like for those of us here, with the things that are being done in the federal government, things are going to go bad in this country, and you should be prepared. And the more of us that are prepared is the more people that we can help when the world ends, which is the more people that can be there to oppose whatever this is that's rising. I don't know what it is. I keep calling it Satan. But like now it looks like it's trying to like sterilize children, so I think that's a pretty good name for it. I don't want you to have to fight, but I think you should fucking know how. And this is kind of like what it comes down to with a lot of this shit is uh, half of this channel is about homesteading and about, you know, cool living off the land kind of shit. The other half of this channel is very much dedicated to making you think like I think, which makes you think like no one else on earth when it comes to a fight. This is the gift I would like to give you. It's it's a hell of a gift. This is the sort of shit that wins wars. This is the sort of shit that fucking changes history. I'm going to give it away for free here on the internet to whoever will listen. It's this unusual, unorthodox, artsy fucking shit applied to combat that is the key critical component of truly being a military leader. And this whole like warrior poet thing, you know, the reason that I watched a video on Steven Seagal the other day, and I've always thought of him as kind of a joke. I watched him for about 20 minutes talk about armed combat, and I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. He's not a joke, number one. Number two, he is a warrior poet and a half. He has dedicated a substantial portion of his life to figuring out how to kill another human being. It's impressive. And I would pay all of the money in the world to see a cage fight between um, Steven Seagal and whoever the champion of the UFC is or whatever, with no rules, street fight, straight up, no gloves, no nothing. We're in this to kill you. Two men enters, one man leaves. I want to see that fight with Steven Seagal and whoever is doing the MMA shit. And I think that's a very interesting distinction to make between what Steven Seagal does and like what MMA people do. And you can tell what Steven Seagal is all about in 5 minutes of talking to him. And I'm going to encourage you in the audience to put your brain into that mindset, to apply your intelligence and your ability to learn to the art of warfare and to balance that out in your own life with things of beauty and passion and love that are necessary to bring balance to this kind of a lifestyle. If you don't, you'll end up in prison or dead or some other shit. And this is like the way of the warrior. If you want to call it that. I thought about making a video entitled that the other day. Same shit. The video with Steven Seagal was with a karate guy on fucking YouTube. Let me see if I can find the name of that. Jesse Incamp. I haven't really watched that many of his videos. I don't know what he's all about or whatever. I watched it because it looked like a chubby Steven Seagal was like torturing this guy on the thumbnail, and I'm like, sure, why not? Let's see what Steven Seagal is up to. I have to admit, I'm impressed. I would not want to be locked in a room with Steven Seagal. And I'm not afraid of very many people. And the parts of Steven Seagal that scare me are not at all physical. It's the sheer volume of things that man has studied about this art form that he could bring out in the middle of a fight that I don't even know what they are or where they came from or how to counter them or any of that sort of shit. This is what makes him extremely fucking dangerous. And I think a lot of people don't get that, like, yes, being strong is good. You should be strong. You should try to endeavor to be the best you that you can be. But like every time I've ever tried physical training at all, I always kind of fail fucking miserably because of hormones and shit. That's a whole different conversation for a different day. But as a result, I focused on the mind. And like I have the opposite problem. But as such, I'm the perfect person to teach you people how to think in combat. And the reason I say that is like, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's upbringing, genetics, or whatever, I think really, really well under adrenaline. I don't know what's up with that. So maybe that's part of like my, own bullshit or whatever. Or maybe that's just the nature of developing these skills. And I would like to think it's more just the nature of developing these skills. I was joking around with my buddy, and I said my second book should be How to Be Batman Without the Money. And I kind of mean that. Like, you could definitely set yourself up in life to be Batman, basically. You know, who is Batman? Batman is a regular dude with a bunch of toys that uses his brain to kill everything on the planet, but not kill, to fight crime or whatever. Like the OG Batman had guns and killed people. I like OG Batman. New PC Batman, where you just like capture the guys, or it's boring. I wear a Punisher T-shirt a lot. Like that's how I feel about Batman. But so a lot of this whole channel is to encourage you to be this Greek style citizen soldier, ready to fight should it be needed. But other than that, just living your own life and tending your garden. And I think that's a lot better life than what they're offering you in the fucking cities. And in reality, like, I would like to build this to the point where this is a religion of some sort. And I would like to make one of the tenets of this religion that you have to own a fully functional machine gun that costs less than $1,000. And then I'm going to sue the federal government because the fucking NFA violates my First Amendment rights. If you believe in these things, support me on Patreon. You too can be a part of whatever the fuck is going on here that is eventually going to take down the state, or die trying, I guess. So I'm going to have to cough. You know how hard it is to talk while you have to cough? That's some skill. I don't know where I got that from, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If all you can do is buy one gun, the gun that I would buy would be a PTR 91 with a rail on the top, and I would get it as bare bones as you can get it, like plastic fucking furniture. Upgrade some of that plastic furniture to like the better HK stuff, and then put a red dot on it. I would get a Holosun 403R, and then I would get as many magazines as you can get for the G3 because they're cheap. And I would get that FAL chest rig, and then I would get as much at 308 as you can get. And once you have that, that makes you a very capable rifleman. And this is a useful tool on the battlefield. A dude with an AR-15 and 80 tons of camping equipment to just stay alive for 5 minutes in the woods isn't a useful thing on the battlefield. A young, fit dude who's intelligent with a semi-automatic 308 rifle who can stay alive in the field for extended periods without support, this is a useful animal. This is what I would like to try to create a pool of in America through my efforts here. This is, the citizen special forces, I guess. Like, the goal here is to teach you to teach others and spread this shit. And like, this is the thing with like a movement like this, a religion, a fucking, a peaceful protest or whatever. They can't kill this. Like, we'll be armed to the teeth. So maybe they'll say we're fucking, some sort of crazy militia, because I said the word militia. But they're going to say that anyway. I don't know. I'm trying to espouse an entire system and way to live. And it's all based around a lot of this shit. And it's a whole philosophy. And I'm going to keep making more videos about that. That's what this show is kind of morphing into. It's going to be everything about all of this. It's not just the guns. And the things that I realized about my own channel and about the gun community in general over the last few years is that, yes, we focus on the gun, and that's good. And we should know how to use guns. We should know all about guns. But we get distracted on focusing on cool shit we like. And no one wants to talk about, tourniquets and fucking bottles of water and shit that actually fucking matters. And that's what you should have way more of than guns. Have a gun, know how to use it, have ammo, have magazines, have a whole bunch of guns if you can. I'm not even talking shit about having a bunch of guns. But I know there's people watching this that have 40 guns and don't have any sort of plan for any of the stuff that we've talked about. And it's not like you need a bunch of crazy shit. Like I said, if you buy the right gun, you can get a $35 chest rig and $5 magazines. That's why I'm saying get the G3. It's not anything else about the rest of that gun. It's the fact that it has super, super cheap magazines, and it is a good, effective gun, and the PTRs work. And given the realities of modern warfare, it looks like you might want a 308. The Army's picking, 6.5 whammo blaster or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know what to make of that. It could be, oh shit, that's the next M14, or it could revolutionize warfare. And if it revolutionizes warfare, I want a 308. Because 308's like old, reliable, and it's a deer rifle. And this is what you are. You're a deer hunter. You have a G3 with a 5-round magazine in it. Congratulations, you can hunt in Oklahoma and Texas. Okay? Your same deer rifle can now be used for militia purposes. This is the way. And like, there's a lot of this that is like, this is the way. A lot of that shit in the fucking Mandalorian comes from this Greek shit. When he's saying this is the way or whatever, like living on your own land and having your own arms and growing your own food, being your own fucking man with your own money, this is the way. This is how you live your life. Thanks for watching.